everybody. This is something that I've been searching for an answer to actually all my life. I didn't know it when I was young, and I didn't know it in my teens, but only since I've come into really the basic understanding and what I'm learning through the law of life. So in knowing that, I've been able to ask God, please help me get the answer. I want to be set free from this tyranny that has plagued me all my life. And it was in Dr. Horst's presentation yesterday that the Lord revealed to me what the answer is. And so what I had been doing all my life, of course unconsciously, unknowingly, was carrying bitterness towards my mum and my father, but mainly my mum. And as we learnt yesterday, that's who we first attach to spiritually, as our mothers. And what I've been struggling with all my life is gluttony. Now you may think, gosh Linzy, you're not fat. And actually Dr. Horst Mueller once told me that. What are you concerned about? Because you don't look fat. But I've done a BMI test on me, and I'm only just that little bit below the 5 mark, 0.5. We're above 5. Your body mass index is getting high. So what happened to me in my life was my mother, when I was born, suffered mastitis in her nipples, so she couldn't feed me. And so back then, there wasn't much of a choice other than a powdered milk to give a child. And I was never ever really nourished. I used to cry and cry and cry a lot as a baby. And they didn't know what it was. They just thought that, oh, you know, this is a child that's just unsettled. And that was just how it went. So when I became about, I think it was probably about 3 or 4 in memory, my parents had a rule in the weekends that we as children, I have an older brother, were not allowed to get up until they got up. And because they both worked all week, they liked to have their lie-ins in the weekends. So here we both were in our bedrooms. We weren't allowed out of our bedrooms until they got up. So I was very, very hungry. And so I used to sneak out of my bedroom, tippy-toe up the hall, and go and raid the cookie jars. And of course, eventually I got caught. So what they both decided was they'd put a lock on my bedroom door so I couldn't get out. Now, this, of course, subconsciously I carried all my life. And so food had become my love source. And so wherever I went, whether it was to a friend's place or whether I was out somewhere, even as an adult, I would always be thinking, the first priority is, what's the food going to be like? I need to have this in order to fill my need. And so what Dr. Horst revealed yesterday was about the love source. But more than that, what I'd been carrying in my heart all these years was the bitterness and the anger towards my mum. And so that revelation was just amazing, that I was able to then go to the cross last night and ask God to forgive me for that, carrying that against my mother. And that has now set me free. That I can now put it at the cross. Again, what Dr. Horst said was, my mother did nothing wrong to me, and I never did anything wrong to her by carrying that bitterness towards her. And so I just am praising God for this camp. I've been searching for this all my life, to be set free. And of course the other thing that came from it too was that because the food was taken away from me by the lock being put on my bedroom door, whenever I would go to food, I'd try to get as much as I could, because I was subconsciously thinking, I'll never get any more. And so this morning over breakfast, I was able to take what I needed, but know that there is going to be more. And that in these last days, when we can't buy and sell and get our food, I know that God will provide for me just as much as I need. So that's my testimony, and I'm just praising God and thanking Him that He brought me here to this camp. I did have a few thoughts about shall I come, but now I know why He's brought me here, and I just wanted to share that with you. That it's more for me. It was more about I have to ask God to forgive me for those thoughts of bitterness that I had towards my mother. And to me, repentance is a huge thing and part of the healing. Yeah, so thank you.